Okay. It's just
Shut up and sit down.
Hello. Can you all hear us? I just want to make sure, double check. Comment before we get started. I'm sure. Okay, cool. All right, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special summer episode edition of Pardon Me, Alex. Of course, you know me. I'm Alex. That's
Jax.
And we are here with Coach Matt.
Braeuer.
There you go.
There you go.
I wanted Jacqueline to
We
say
learned
it because
how to
she's
say
been
it.
struggling.
Keep wanting to say Braeuer, but it is Braeuer.
Yeah.
For anyone who is curious, we got a message.
Melvin, can you hear us? I'm just making sure. Okay. I'm assuming he can because he commented. All right, cool. So we're super excited to have you on the podcast, and thank you so much for making your schedule work with us. I know you're super busy. This is your second to most busy season. That's coming up in October, but we're excited to talk to you and, of course, meet you, get to know you, and kind of let the Lumberjack Nation and fans get to know you as well on a deeper level than just listening to your press conference and things like that and small shorts on social media. Mm-hmm. But I guess the first question that I had is talking about playing for your dad and how that has kind of shaped you as a coach.
Yeah. Everybody always assumes that being a coach's son is easy. It's probably one of the harder things to deal with because you're navigating a lot of different avenues. You're navigating some jealousy. You're navigating people viewing you like you're getting, the coach's son treatment. You get to start, you get to play, whatever it may be.
Right.
And so had to deal with that a lot when I was younger because I played up when I was a freshman. I was on varsity, but I didn't play on varsity. So I got a lot of side eyes. I got a lot of, those things. So having to navigate that was actually probably harder than anything because you have to prove yourself probably more than anyone else. But my dad was really hard on me as a basketball player, and I deserved a lot of it because I was a hothead when I was growing up.
Understood.
And I got a lot of technical fouls when I was in high school. So many that my dad almost threatened me. He threatened to kick me off the entire program as a freshman. So I had to kind of deal with all that. But when we went home, he was dad. He was never coach, which was really cool because that's not always the case.
Yeah,
when you're dealing with a coach's son, typically they want to take it home and talk and just browbeat you with the basketball stuff.
Yes.
And really, it was more I'm dad at home, I'm coach when we're on the floor. So.
That's a really good balance because I was expecting you to say that you got a lot of it at home because my dad wasn't my coach, but he was a referee and he had played his whole life, and we would come home after every game and watch the film and discuss it. So that's good that he had a good work-life balance.
I got it a lot on the floor though.
Oh yeah.
That's a you got.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
If he's not showing favoritism, come on. If anything, you probably got it more than everybody else.
I got it way more. So that way everybody knew. I think he did it on purpose.
Of course.
A little bit so everybody knew that
Make
I
an
was.
example.
Well, and he also probably knew that you'd handle it.
Yeah.
Well, but looking back, you're like, okay,
It was good for me. I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure that you've taken a lot of that with you, and you've brought that with you through your years coaching and being at Tech and then coming here. I'm sure a lot of that is kind of carried over.
Yes.
Yeah.
What aspects of his coaching style would you say that you've kind of adapted the most?
Just probably the discipline a little bit, and I've learned it through a lot of different people. But my dad loved Bob Knight and how he played motion offense, man-to-man defense. He didn't necessarily throw chairs.
That's good.
Or that type of stuff.
Or choke players.
He didn't do that. But he really we actually when I went to college, it was one of the first times I ever used a ball screen. But in high school, we were all motion offense, screen away, back screens, flare screens, cross screens, all the stuff that the old school way of playing. And so that was kind of the style. But the discipline was always the same. The details mattered, and the accountability within those details is definitely something I learned.
I love that. So during your press conference, I was telling him before we got on in live that I took very detailed notes about some of the stuff that he mentioned during his press conference. And if you haven't been able to watch that, highly recommend going back and listening because he definitely touched on a lot of things that I'm not going to get to today. But some of the stuff and some of the things that you mentioned were some, I guess, characteristics of ball players that you'd want to recruit here at SFA. Toughness, togetherness, grit, accountability, respect, hard workers, respectful human beings, guys that want to be here, not because of the money. We love that one. High character, and then players that want to be coached. Tell us a little bit about that and maybe just the guys that you've assembled here and how they kind of fit into that mold.
Yeah, so I mean the characters first and foremost.
Yeah.
And for those that haven't been around the young men that we have here so far, I think they'll realize when they finally get around them, like, man, they're top-notch character. We've had some people within the program and friends of the program that have been around them, and that's the first thing they comment on is how good of people they are, how respectful they are. They're not entitled, and I think that's probably the most important thing that I've learned as a coach player, just growing up in a basketball family, is that you have to be a good person, and you have to treat people the right way, and you have to respect people, and in return you get the same thing in from your players. And so I think those are the first thing you'll notice. We have talent, we have experience, we have all that stuff, which is great, and we're building the toughness and togetherness and the grit. That's not something that just you have right when you step on campus. You have maybe individual toughness, individual grit, but as a group, as a complete collective group, we don't have that yet enough to be a championship caliber team. But that's not. I'm not surprised by that. That's not something that we would be clicking on all cylinders in June. I wouldn't expect it, and we're not. But I do think the guys have a great mindset on how hard they're working, how coachable they are, and they've been great the first 2 weeks of workouts. So I'm excited about where we are.
That's awesome. And that's to be expected. If anybody's expecting you to come out and saying, yeah, we're perfect, like we're meshing well, and it's, June, I would be very hesitant to believe that.
Yeah.
And with an almost fully new roster.
And that was another really good point is the fact that there's 2 returnees, Cece and Keon, who we're so excited to have them back. And but we're also really excited and anxious to meet the new guys. And maybe you don't talk about every single one of them, obviously, because there's a lot, but maybe just talk about a few of them and maybe who they are as people and what we can expect to see maybe on the court from them based off of what you've seen so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I go through the roster, first and foremost, start with CC and Keon.
Yeah.
Was really important to keep those guys around because I think they are good people, and I think they're good players that want to be at SFA and that have won before, and they've been awesome.
We can vouch for that.
Yeah, and the coachability part. I mean, they're learning. I'm a different coach than they've had, and not necessarily in a better way or a worse way. Just I'm different than what they've been playing for. So they're navigating that. They're learning from me. I'm learning them. It's no different than any other new coach would be going through. But they've been great. So start with those 2. I'm probably going to forget a couple names here, but
it's okay.
Don't get all of them.
You don't have to go through all of them.
Yeah, well,
we'll save that for October.
And I think all of them have been. The most important thing is that, like I just said earlier, is that they all want to be great.
Yeah.
They work hard. They come in extra on their own. They're great in the weight room, and they're like when I walk on the floor to go coach them every day, they've been exactly what I would hope they would be, and. The basketball part is kind of what it is at this point. Again, I'm not down on anything. I'm excited about the type of work ethic we have, the type of competitiveness we have. That's been the best part so far, is just how competitive they've been. Which, if you have that to begin with and you're not having to coach that, then I think you're already ahead of the game.
Yeah, because that's hard to create.
Yep.
I love that. We're super excited to meet the guys, and I mean, usually we don't get to meet them until Meet the Jacks, an event that we do normally here. So hopefully we'll sneak into some practices or something.
Yeah, and we'll have some stuff on the internet. We'll have some stuff on the website coming up soon that we'll kind of introduce them. You can put a face to a name,
Yeah.
a little bit of a bio, a little bit maybe of a small story of them. We'll have that kind of coming out here in the next couple of weeks where you can really get a different feel or vibe from them rather than just being basketball players or as a whole group roster-wise. You'll be able to get an individual feel a little bit.
And that's really,
yeah, we need it.
we need
it's
that,
a
but
lot
also the community loves that.
Mhm.
The alumni, and that's also another reason why we do this podcast is because like there's one thing just reading a story on SFA's athletic website, and they do a great job of covering stuff, but like there's a human element to this.
Yeah,
and
of
so
course.
getting to know you and the new guys and all of that stuff, that's really important to us and also, the fans. And so
Mhm.
that's why, we really wanted to make sure we got this rolling soon. You said something during the during the presser that I took and wrote down, makers, not takers.
Yeah.
Explain that. Where'd that come from?
Well,
explain what you mean by makers, not takers.
Yeah, everybody can take threes.
Yeah. We've had
You know,
many in the past,
we
I like
want
that.
guys that make threes. And
Yes, yeah. And
look-
if you don't make them, you don't need to take a whole lot.
well, that's definitely part of it.
Yeah.
And but you also don't want to. Everybody has to get better as an individual. You have to have goals that you're trying to achieve, whether they're goals that maybe you can't reach. They have to be able to try to reach for something. And so I don't want to necessarily take pass percentages or the fact that people say they can't shoot and just put it in my brain. I want to tell them, like, let's work on it, let's get better at it, and then let's try it in practice. And then as the practice goes on, the fall goes on, then we say, okay, this is a low percentage shot for our team. What can we do to make a high percentage shot? How can we get a great shot for our team? Because ultimately, that's how you win is getting great shots, not good shots. And so makers, not takers.
Love it.
But you also have to have the freedom and feel the confidence from myself as a head coach that I'm okay with you taking shots.
Right.
Because you can't make them unless you take them.
Yeah.
And so, it's a little bit of both. And you got to have some savvy and some feel with, what shot we should take, what shot we shouldn't take. But that's something that's learned over time. Currently, at the moment, don't really care.
Yeah, you're still evaluating.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I love that. I think that's great. I think that was one of the things we were kind of missing, like having refined last season. So.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
It was just something that I feel like a lot of the guys just didn't have the confidence to do it. And so now I think that may change a little bit, which we appreciate.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next question. I love this quote too. Again, I'm paraphrasing you because okay. We will play as fast as we need to give us the best chance to win.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to, in the past, defense, press, like just the fast defense, playing hard, coast to coast, just ramming the defense down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a whole different coaching style. Like we don't know exactly what your coaching style is in terms of defense or playing fast or playing slow or
what it will be with this group of guys.
Exactly. And it may change year to year. So, maybe tell us a little about that quote. We'll play as fast as we need to give us the best chance to win.
Yeah. So it's kind of a quote taken from Coach McCaslin.
Okay.
When we were at North Texas, we played the slowest tempo in the country for 2 years and we won a lot of games. And a lot of people said, well, he can't win at the highest level because he has the slowest pace in the country, and nobody really wanted to hire him, right? And that was kind of the downside to him. Well, and his deal was, well, we'll play as fast as we can. That gives us the best chance to win.
Yeah.
So if we can go out and recruit the best players in our conference, then we can play faster. We can play more aggressive. We can do different things. But we're trying to win a national championship, right? That was our goal at North Texas. That's our goal everywhere. But we couldn't go out there and compete with the highest level teams to win a national championship playing their style.
Yeah.
And so we had to play a certain style that could help us win and give us the best chance to win. So it's no different here.
Yeah.
And, I think with our depth, I think what people will understand here soon is we have a lot of good players, which is good and bad.
Right.
Because it's a harder job for me to figure out who to play. But we're going to have to play faster because we're going to play more people. And I'm not saying more people than last year. We're just going to have to play a 9 or 10 man rotation because we have that many good players.
Mhm.
And so in order to do that, you can't play slow. And so will we press all the time? No. Will we mix in some presses? Yes. Will we be full court man? Some? Yes. We'll do some different things. We won't be near as much in the passing lanes, above the passing lanes really, as they were here in the past.
Mhm.
But defense will still matter the most. There's nothing that matters more here than accountability, coachability, defense, rebounding, toughness. That stuff will always be number one. But I also want to play fast enough that we can give ourselves the best chance to win,
Mhm.
because I do think we have collectively, we have a lot of talent and good players. And so I want to make sure that, we are able to wear people down over time
Mm.
within the course of the game. Now, with that being said, like I told the guys, we're not going to play fast just to play fast. We still have to take good shots. We still have to take care of the ball. And if we can't do those things, then all right, now I get the joystick and I get to slow us down.
Right.
But we're working on it, and we're working on, making sure that we don't turn the ball over, because if you can get a shot on the rim, you can offensive rebound. You can do a lot of different things to help your offense. So you just got to make sure you don't turn the ball over.
Yeah. I
Preaching
know.
to the choir.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It's easier said than done.
Of course.
unfortunately.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, these are all things that, if we had a wish list of last year, it was like, man, our turnovers were abysmal and the rebounding just wasn't great. And I mean, there's a few other things, but that's the past. That's the past.
Mhm.
And I and everybody who's watching knows. Oh, Gary Lee? He said he's watching. Hi, Gary. So yeah, I think everything that you've been saying so far, I mean, it's resonating a lot with us, and of course with the fans. And so, okay, how important is alignment from the top down, going from all the way up at Dr. Weaver to Mr. McBroom to, of course, you and your staff down to the players, etc.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. The way our program, the way we want to win and win championships here, from Dr. Weaver,
Yeah.
To Michael, to everybody in our, the expectation is to win championships, and the only way you can do that is if you have complete alignment from the top down.
Yeah.
And so, and that starts way above me. I'm a small piece of this, but it's also, if you have the high expectations, you need the resources to match those expectations. And I think they do. And that's probably where a lot of people and a lot of schools kind of can veer off in the wrong direction, is their expectations are to win championships, but the resources and the support don't match that.
Yeah.
And so here, that's not the case. And I've seen it. I know that the resources and the support match the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So we have no excuse. And through Dr. Weaver's leadership and Michael McBroom's leadership, I'm really excited about the direction we're going, and I feel really good about being under their leadership. And so I just know that now we just got to go out there and coach the guys and make sure we recruit the right ones, and the rest will fall into place.
Absolutely. It's just executing from here on out. I agree. I think with Dr. Weaver coming aboard and Mr. McBroom and we've had a podcast with Michael, and I mean, everything that he laid out when he first got here, I mean, we got him literally a few months on the job too. And we're just like, hey, tell us your plans.
Yeah.
And he's just like, here's what I want to do. And so, yeah. And I think everything that he has said has, I mean, pretty much come to fruition. I mean,
he's great.
He's great. He's a planner. I mean, and having UT, call him Big Papa UT, under our belt, giving us finances and resources also isn't, too shabby.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing to have. And, in the past, we didn't have that. We were just little old independent SFA over here.
It is helpful, but we'll take a quick second because I know Gary Lee's watching right now.
Yeah,
to
so
remind everyone
about
NIL, and there's probably a banner on the bottom.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
That
I got the rolling chair.
Well, like we said, we don't want to recruit players that are only looking for NIL money, because obviously that's not going to be our strongest selling point. But it is still something helpful. These guys put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, and they deserve to have some sort of avenue to, earn some money. And so if you want to monetarily support SFA men's basketball or SFA athletics, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, really appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, because there's a lot of guys who depend on every little bit that that you can give, for gas money or for, going home and visiting their parents on a weekend or bringing their parents to a game.
Yeah.
A lot of guys last year used that for their parents to come and visit them and things like that, their families. And so
And with not a lot of time in their schedule to have a job.
at all.
Because this is their job.
This is their job.
There's no time.
So
There's no, yeah. This is their job. They are a student athlete. This is what they do. So any little bit helps. So yes, go to the Sawmill 6-Man collective.com, go to Sawmill 6-Man, and for as little as $10 a month.
Yeah.
That's how much my mom gives, $10 a month. She's watching right now. It helps. Every little bit helps. Okay. Kind of back to during the press conference, you mentioned open door policy.
Mhm.
What exactly do you mean by open door policy? This is something I think that a lot of fans will be interested in hearing. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of coaches, but some coaches will close practices because they don't want, the public to see, whether it's their coaching style or just whatever it may be. So I don't really have that theory. Like I've said to many people, I am who I am. I coach how I coach. I don't change if you guys are in the building or if Michael's in the building or if Dr. Weaver's in the building. I'm going to coach how I'm going to coach. I know how I do things is going to be done the right way. It may not necessarily be the way that everyone else would do it, but it's the way I feel is the right way. And so I don't have any issues with having people, donors or fans wanting to come to practice. Obviously you can't come to every practice.
Right.
The same person come to every practice, and there's like a little bit of vetting that has to happen before you can come to practice.
Yeah.
But in terms of people that love this program and that love SFA, I have no problem letting them come to practice and seeing the team and meeting the team and being around them and around our staff. I think is always great.
Yeah, no, that's stuff that we would love to hear, not just for our personal gain, but just in the community, because there's a lot of people that do walk around campus and they do wander in. They're like, oh, what's going on over here? And so, and that also is a great way to get more people button seats.
Yeah.
Which is that's our goal.
Yeah.
We want it back full.
And it's a main way to start engagement is to get people engaged and excited and, when they feel like they can at least interact or welcome, it just gets people more excited about it. So we love to hear that. And, every coach can have their own style, but as long as you're not choking a player in practice, then if it's not something unorthodox, it shouldn't be oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
No, I have nothing to hide.
Exactly. Yeah. Hear that, people? Open door policy. Within reason. Okay. Yeah. Let caveat. Within reason. Okay. Next little question here. What attracted you to this position? What made you?
In SFA specifically.
Yeah. What made you say, yeah, I'm applying for that? I want that head coach. I want to be the next guy in charge.
Well, my goal's always been to be a head coach.
Of course.
So that's the first and foremost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've gotten my butt kicked here a few times.
We know.
So,
we were going to bring it up since you did.
Happened quite a bit.
What college were you at when that happened?
It was they were orange.
Oh, okay. We'll bring that up.
So
we'll circle back.
I've always known SFA to be a place with great support, with great people, and the facilities are incredible. Right?
Oh, I mean.
And so,
yeah.
it was really a no-brainer whenever it kind of started to come to fruition that this could be an opportunity. There was never any holdback on my end. I pursued it full head steam and excited that I had the opportunity to interview and then be a Zoom interview and then have an actual interview, an in-person interview, which was great. And so, it was never, once I figured out that I actually had a chance to get it, I was all on board.
And I think not only we love to hear that, but also everybody else is that's the kind of coach we want to have. Someone who wants to be here, full steam ahead, 100% committed type of person.
Yep.
Yeah. Love to hear that.
So in addition to the, what you were saying earlier, the support that you feel like you have from Weaver, Broom, and just everyone, what's kind of been some of your favorite things so far about the culture of SFA, just in general?
I haven't lost a game yet.
Hey,
So that
win
Top of
column.
the
a
list.
lot of people.
Dubs.
Well, a lot of people still like me. So so that makes it a little easier.
You have a few more months of
I
that.
have a few
Hey,
more
you know
months.
what? I could
But-
keep going.
Yeah,
And that's why I said in my press conference, we will lose. We won't go undefeated every year. But I think just the people in general, they don't, within reason, they don't necessarily want something from me, right? And so,
Yeah.
because the stigma of being a head coach is like everybody wants a part of you, right?
Yeah.
And so they don't want anything from me. Obviously, they want to get to know me and they want to get to know our staff and our players. Like that stuff is understandable.
Right,
I completely understand that. But they just genuinely want me and my wife and my kids to be excited about being in Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because it's not necessarily, it is tied to being the head basketball coach, but it's more important and it's human. It's actually the human being part of it rather than just the coach part of it. So that's been really, really cool. And the people here have just been, super welcoming and especially for my family and trying to do everything to help navigate getting them here and making it as easy as possible, which has been super helpful.
Right. Getting them settled, making sure they're comfortable and
I wouldn't say we're settled yet, but they've
They're
helped and
working on
they've
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
had people that have
progress.
definitely stepped up and tried to help. So
And I totally agree. I think that's really important. I mean, regardless if you're the head coach of the basketball team or just another family that just moved in because you like the city, I think regardless, everybody should be treating you that way. You're just a new family just coming into town.
Mhm.
And so getting you acclimated and comfortable and settled. And I feel like that's just Nacogdoches because that's exactly how I felt when I moved here. And I mean, that's why I'm still here.
and it's very, I'm from Texas, so
Yeah.
I love the people of Texas. They're always
Mhm.
very nice and warm and welcoming. The people in Lubbock were the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody said you'll love East Texas and it's been awesome and great so far. Obviously, we love it. So.
Right. I mean, and you're no stranger to East Texas because obviously you were at a school undisclosed. Call it Johnson Coliseum South.
Yeah.
So now you can call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. You're welcome to use that phrase.
Okay.
Johnson Coliseum South. Tell us a little. We had to bring it up. Tell us a little bit about your time there, and of course how that's kind of brought maybe some fire under the belly since now that you're, coaching the enemy, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
We're frenemies.
Yeah, we are.
We
Well,
are frenemies with cat fans. I have a question from cat fans. Just kidding.
Of course.
So I was young. I was when I got the job there, I would have been 26 or 7.
Yeah.
27. And so, I was just trying to get my foot in the
Of
door
course. Yeah.
and start the recruiting process because I was a graduate assistant for 2 years after I played. I was an assistant at Midland Junior College for a year, and then I went to Maryland for 2 years as a video coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just looking to get back into the Division I level with recruiting experience. And so that's where I started. Had a great 3 years. We had a lot of success. We just weren't quite as good as SFA at the time. And
Hey,
It ebbs and flows.
Yeah, it
ebbs
ebbs
and flows.
Yeah, I was like,
Coach Underwood had,
Yeah.
did a phenomenal job
Well,
here.
Yeah, he did.
And took over for Coach Casper, who did a great job as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they had, Trey Pinkney, Thomas Walkup,
It's
Jacob
hard.
Parker.
yeah,
Big three.
it's hard. It's hard
It
to be
was,
that man.
and so
Yeah.
it's, it shaped me a lot as a young coach. I learned a lot,
Mhm.
from Coach Hooten, and that helped me. And I wouldn't say there's necessarily more fire in the belly because of that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about the exhibition. I know everybody wants to play a home and home.
We were coming up
We're,
to that.
That was the next
we're
question,
working
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
One of my best friend, one of my son's godfathers is the head coach at Sam Houston. And so we're working on a home and home.
Yeah.
I keep needling him to try to do it, but it's gonna take some.
More elbow.
I may have to put him in a headlock to do
But
it.
the mutual ground game is a good start.
Yes, and that's
No,
where
I agree. Yeah.
we wanted to start. We wanted to bring back the Battle of the Piney Woods to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I specifically would like to do a home and home.
Yeah.
So like I said, I just got to get them in a little headlock,
Oh yeah.
and then we'll
Just let us know.
work it out.
We'll
We
We'll
go
back you
on, we
up.
go on vacation.
Yeah.
Our families are really good friends.
See,
So we go on
That's-
vacation together. So
yeah.
we'll work it out at some point.
yeah.
Whether it's
Yeah.
through a game of cornhole or
I was
Say,
gonna
like, set
say-
him on a round of golf or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
he has no chance against me in golf. But in
There you
cornhole,
go.
in
There you go.
cornhole, well,
Noted.
he doesn't play golf. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
In
I was
cornhole,
like,
though,
okay.
he has a slight chance against me in cornhole. So.
Okay.
Better start practicing.
No, so that was going to be our follow-up question was talking about the exhibition game, Battle of the Punny Woods, the hardwood. Obviously, we didn't know that you were so close to the head coach,
Yeah.
Sam Houston, like that. I mean, obviously you knew him, but
Him and
not
I worked together at my
Yeah.
time at Sam. So
See,
Oh, okay.
and that's even
All right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
now all these pieces are falling into place. So this makes more sense. So I was gonna be like, how did this come about?
it was easy.
It was an easy.
As soon as I got the job, I called him. I said, "We're doing this." He said, "Okay, sounds good." So
I
Well,
mean,
so
there wasn't any. I mean, my first question is, "Let's do a home and home."
yeah.
He said, "No, we're not going to do that. We're full on schedule this year." I said,
Okay.
"Well, then we're doing an
That's fair.
exhibition."
So that's not a no. That's a maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
That's
you're
just like
saying
it-
there's a chance.
something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I
But
mean,
it was.
yeah.
It didn't take much, tugging on his arm to do it. So
No, and I think a lot of people are super excited. I mean, yeah, of course, everybody wants a home and home, and that'll come. Just be patient, people. People are not patient. Anyway, so we're really excited about that. I think it's going to bring obviously a lot of the Houston alums back into the fold too, because they've been feeling kind of without something because Battle Pony Woods is no longer in Houston anymore. So I think this is a great opportunity to re-engage them as well.
yeah, I'm excited about it. Our team's excited about it. I think it'll be great.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes the first year.
yeah.
At worst, we'll keep doing it as an exhibition. Hopefully, we can do it as a home and home, but
I
it
think-
definitely is something that we're going to keep around for sure.
I think just
Some
having it in general,
Yeah.
regardless of where it's at, what level it's at, I think is going to be great regardless.
Yeah.
And
And definitely let us know what you could use for helping promote it, because on behalf of alumni and NIL, we can do some work on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Get
but
something cool together.
we're still
Yeah.
working on some stuff on how we're going to try to engage more people.
Mhm.
But we'll do something that'll be pretty cool.
Okay, keep
so
us in the loop. and
Yeah.
give
There
us
may
a
be some
task.
raffles. There may be some different things that
There you go.
will
There
be
you
good
go.
to
Those
kind
are
of,
always good.
he mentioned maybe doing a, who can raise more money in the raffles, SFA fans or St. Houston fans.
Ah,
I told them
okay.
that they didn't stand a chance.
Oh, zero chance. Zero chance.
So,
we'll get
But
some.
we'll do. There'll be some stuff
Yeah.
that'll be in the works as we get closer. Though, we'll release that stuff. But it's something we're talking about pretty much on the daily basis.
No, it's
Awesome.
awesome. Yeah. What? Where is it at again? And what's the capacity of this place? Because I mean,
Yeah, tell us the specifics.
yeah. Because I mean, if
You're asking me way too many questions that I don't know.
Oh, well, we'll figure it out.
Well,
man.
it's
no big deal.
the HISD complex.
Oh.
And so
Oh,
it's Del Mar. Stadium is the football, but it's down there in that same area. It's the basketball arena. It seats. I'm pretty sure it seats 3,000 or 4,000 people.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it'll be big enough.
I think that was my main thing. I was like, we're talking hundreds or we're talking thousands?
No,
Okay.
it's a good size arena.
I mean, because as you know, there's a few places in the Southland that are like, oh, I think that's a couple hundred people or less I can fit in there. So anyway, yeah. Moving on. Okay, we'll look at
But
that.
yes, there's
Yeah.
some questions that you may ask about the details that I don't know of exactly.
And it's okay to say you don't know.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
it's very early
Yeah, it's
for all the
That's
finite
fine. That's
details.
fine. Okay. So obviously we know as a coach, there's not a lot of luxuries of free time.
Mhm.
So, but when you do have a moment of free time, what are you doing? Like, we want to learn a little bit about you, Matt, as a person, and not necessarily as a coach. So tell us about free time. What's that looking like when
I think
you get
it probably depends on if my kids are in school.
Bingo.
So if my kids are in school,
Yeah.
I like to golf. I don't get a chance to do it much anymore, but I do like to golf when I get a chance.
Okay.
You have quite a pool of SFA athletics donors who would be happy to take you golfing. all the time.
100%. Y'all hear
Yeah.
that? There's plenty of golfers
My
watching right
dad
now. I
plays
guarantee you.
with a group of them like 3 times a week. So
Yeah, and I don't, and I can't play too much because obviously there's a lot of work to do. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But if I'm not doing that, my wife and I like to we like house projects. So
Obviously,
Yeah, you got a lot of that right
yeah,
now.
I'm not specifically doing the remodel, but of this house, but
Yeah.
we've flipped the house before together.
Oh, cool.
So we've done some of that stuff. During COVID, I don't know what got into me, but I kind of started doing some wood making stuff.
Okay.
So
Everyone picked up new hobbies.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
I made a couple of like dinner tables.
Nice.
And
Cool.
yeah, so it was something different, and I kind of enjoy that part of it, the details part of it, and kind of figuring out what
Yeah.
works, what doesn't work.
Well,
So
hot
that's cool.
dog, lumberjack. Look at you. You're
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
mentioning
well,
me.
actual lumberjack.
Yeah. No, I enjoy the outdoors.
Uh-huh.
My wife and I would love going to the mountains, going where it's cooler. When we have
Yeah.
vacations,
Yeah,
we
that's
go where it's
optimal.
cooler. So
Absolutely.
we like
Yeah.
kind of the Northwest, the just anywhere north, anywhere that's got some mountains.
Mhm.
Is always cool, and just, I mean, we don't get a chance to do a ton,
Right.
but
Yeah.
just hanging out. Now, if my kids are outside of school,
Different story.
then it's whatever they want to
Of
do.
course. That's the right dad answer.
So
Yeah.
we play a lot of sports. We play a lot of tackle. So they have a lot of fun. There's two of them, so there's a lot of energy.
Of course. Two boys. Yeah.
How old
Yeah.
are they again?
They turned 3 in May,
Okay.
Yeah.
so twin boys. So they're
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah, they're active.
Yeah.
They're great kids, but they like to be on the move.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
They're boys.
They're boys. They're
They're
full
boys.
boys.
They're boys.
they're active.
Like if they're not active, then if it's too quiet, there's something happening.
Yeah, no, they're.
Yeah,
I don't
they're up
even
to
know
something.
if quiet. Yeah, quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe reading a book, they'll be quiet, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, and they were super cute at the presser, and we're so excited to see them running around on the court and off the court. So that's great.
Yeah.
We feel that very deeply with going to cooler places and the mountains. One of the, I guess, favorite things we like to do is travel, and so we love traveling when the guys are traveling. So like when the schedule comes out and we see where everybody's going, then we make plans.
Yep.
Speaking of, do you think that y'all are going to be playing in an MTE somewhere else this season?
Yeah. So
Last season we hosted.
we were not hosting MT this
Okay.
year.
Okay.
We have a couple of games that are finalized.
Okay. Cool.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell them yet.
Don't-
so
yeah,
I
you
won't
don't
say
have to
You
it.
don't have to get in trouble.
But
Yeah.
we are doing. Our MTE is not going to be
Overseas.
one place.
Oh,
MTE. We're going to play 2 games out in California,
okay.
and I'll go ahead and say it. We're going to play at Fresno State and at Pepperdine, and we'll
Okay,
play. It'll be November 18th, November 21st.
Okay.
So those are 2 games that I can tell, and that's part of an MTE, and we'll stay out there on the West Coast during that time.
Okay.
But it'll be a cool, be 2 good teams and
Yeah.
cool road environments, and then we've got some really cool home and home games that I think people will be excited about, that we have finalized, and
That's great to hear.
are hopefully releasing.
Yeah.
We'll have the schedule. I know.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. I
But
was just
but I
trying
know
to-
I know people have complained in the
Yeah.
past about schedule being put out super late in the summer, and
can't come out till it's finalized.
even the fall. I think we're
done when it's
we're
done.
pretty much done with the schedule. There's
I'm
some,
shocked,
some things we
honestly.
have to tie up.
Yeah.
But we'll probably hopefully have it announced, by the end of July at the latest.
Holy
Well, no,
moly.
we understand the struggle in that, and literally every
Every
season we're
season.
reminding people like
It
it
is a-
can't be released until it's finalized.
And it-
There's
and
only
it-
so much you can do.
Yeah, and
done
it's a
when
puzzle.
done.
It's a puzzle.
You
There's
know?
a
It
lot of
really
different
is.
things
Yeah.
that go into it. Dates, finals, graduations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of different moving parts, but
Mhm.
we're close, and a lot of the staff prior had done a good job of scheduling home games. So
Some of it's already set
Louisiana
up.
Monroe, Arkansas State,
Yeah.
Abilene Christian, it was a home and home series, so they're coming here next year or this year.
Yeah.
And so those games are were already scheduled. We just have to find a date. So
Right.
we're trying to finagle some of that stuff and figure it out, but we're close.
No,
No,
good. We weren't
yeah.
pushing for
No.
too many details. We just wanted to know if we needed a budget for an MTE in another country.
No. we're
Yeah,
not-
yeah, that was the big
no,
one.
definitely
Yeah.
not. We're
Yeah.
not
We
doing
just
that
wanted
this
to know
year.
for budget purposes
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we need to start.
Because we
Yeah.
ball on budgets, but if we can make basketball trips, we're going.
Yeah.
So we like to plan ahead if
I like
we can.
So anytime you have an overseas trip coming up, just as soon as you can publicly say it, let us know so
I
that we
gotcha.
can start.
Saving money and
Makes
putting
sense.
money aside.
Because if we
Yeah.
can afford it, we'll go.
We're going,
But,
yeah.
the guys went to Italy last summer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Tony told us like
2 weeks of
a
before we
month
left.
before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, we're not balling on that kind of money.
Yeah. We can't make a a month
Can't
or
jump a
less.
flight to Italy in like 2 weeks.
No,
I
no,
understand.
yeah. But when they went to Canada for an MTE, we went. When they went to the Caymans for the MTE, we went.
I went when they played one in Ireland.
In Belfast.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, anytime we can go, we're gonna be there because
Okay.
not only obviously we're fans first, but obviously we want to talk about it too on the podcast
And a trip in basketball.
yeah, yeah, we enjoyed
It's a win-win.
exactly. I mean, we enjoyed the Oregon trip last year. I mean, yeah. So anytime we can go, obviously we went to Duke. That was a
Yeah.
We all know
have
how that
been
goes.
at most of the big wins that we've had.
most of the big giant killer wins.
We
Yeah.
were at Duke. We were at LSU.
LSU.
We were at Baylor. Sorry, Nick. Rocco.
Not sorry,
is gonna
Nick.
be very
Rocco.
upset. He
No,
gets
we
very
don't
upset
care.
every time I bring that up. Joe, remember how our team was that year? I'm like,
Doesn't matter.
I'm just counting the dub.
I don't give a
On the
rat's.
sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Question on there. Any ESPN games? We
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
No,
later.
zero clue.
TBD.
ESPN Plus.
Every
Definitely
game.
have those.
Every game.
Every game. Yes, every home game. ESPN Plus. Every Southland Conference game. ESPN Plus. Okay, cool. All right. So a few questions left because I know we're closing in on almost an hour. So this is for Cat fans. He didn't ask this.
I know what this is about.
Fuck's sake. So we have a frenemy relationship with
Okay.
Cat fans. I'm sure you're familiar with their online presence, Cat fans, and their.
Well, and to preface this question,
Yeah.
when we first joined the WAC, we did a special episode where we had an open ask on social media for anyone from any of the colleges to
Yeah.
hit us up and let us know places to eat there that were good.
So that when we go there-
WAC food
Yeah.
podcast and talked about all the different restaurants that were recommended at each place. So if
Okay.
you make a road game,
Yeah.
and
Well,
Cat
yeah.
fans really zeroed in on some things.
There's a couple things here. So one is
That's
what is your take on barbecue sauce and barbecue? Do you think good barbecue inherently doesn't require barbecue sauce, or regardless you're throwing it on there?
It's a good question. I think it depends on how you're going to eat it. Because if I'm going to
Okay.
eat it as a sandwich, I'm going to put some barbecue sauce.
That's a good point.
Because
Because
the bread.
The bread.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and I'm not a mustard based or vinegar based
No, me neither.
barbecue sauce. Can't do
Okay.
either one of those.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
if you're going to eat sausage, I'm no barbecue sauce.
No sauce. Okay.
Pulled pork, no barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Ribs.
Keep going.
Ribs,
I think
typically,
this is the
well,
sticking point. I think this
but
is
most
the
people
problem.
kind of based ribs with some barbecue sauce, so there's kind
Correct.
of a little bit of that on it.
Yeah.
Already.
So I don't typically put barbecue sauce on top of ribs. Brisket,
Yeah.
I'm
This is where it's
probably gonna have a little bit on it,
Okay.
but I definitely don't like to overpower it with barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Alright.
So this is where this is coming from. So when we went to the Kansas game, when we played Kansas,
Mhm.
we of course went to Kansas and had some barbecue.
Yep.
Because we've had obviously Texas style, we've had all these different styles, but we haven't had Kansas.
Mhm.
So we went, and before we went on back under our plane, we stopped and had, I forget the restaurant, doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, but
It was delightful. I don't remember.
but
what
it was
called.
delightful. But they prepared the food, so like it was
They plated it.
they plated it. So they're the ones that slapped the barbecue sauce on it. I just ate it how it was given.
it.
I posted the picture of it onto our social medias, and of course, Cat fans had questions, and we're
Quite a problem with that
quite a
barbecue
problem
sauce.
with the barbecue amount of barbecue sauce. I'm like, I'm just eating it the way it was presented. So apparently, he didn't like that.
Well, I wouldn't consider barbecue though is not the same as steak. Like I do not use steak sauce for steaks, but I wouldn't consider that the same.
I agree. Here's the thing. If the steak is not cooked great, I'm going to have to
Yeah,
put
you
something
got
on it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, if the steak's not cooked great, I probably won't eat it.
Ooh, okay. You're
But not out of disrespect.
No,
It's just
that's fair.
I just don't like steak sauce.
Okay, that's also fair. Okay, so if you haven't gone yet, over at CC Smokehouse,
Mhm.
Have
They
you been
make-
there yet?
Yes.
okay, have you had their steak?
No.
Okay, well there you go. So that is one of the only steaks I've ever had that I didn't need to put steak sauce on.
Really?
Yes.
She's a big fan. I'm not a steak eater, but she's a big fan.
I'm
of
a big
steak, so.
steak, barbecue, meat eater. We're also big foodies. So like, I mean, anywhere we go, food's going to be involved. Like we're going to have probably an opinion about it, but
I'm going to make a Google Doc before we go. With
yeah, we're going to have food.
all the restaurants listed and the links and everything.
All the things. So yeah, that's probably one of the one steaks I've ever had that I don't need sauce on, because every other steak I've had, I'm just like, okay.
Well, that means you cook it medium or medium plus.
Oh, it's not mine. I'm not, at home, I'm not putting steak sauce on it. It's,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
She's saying, like
Out to eat.
Oh, I
I'm
got
like, I'll get a steak and I'm like,
Because if you're medium rare, you typically don't, because there's a
oh yeah,
flavor.
and I don't ask for my steak anything higher than medium rare.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm not an animal here. I mean I know what I'm about. Oh wait, here's Matt Rocco.
Hey, Matt.
Okay, he has. Okay, hold on. What are the money games this year? That 22% rev share is huge. I don't know if we can answer that yet, Matt.
Yeah, I don't have any answers for that.
There you go.
TBD.
And then he said, Coach, don't let the ladies wear you out. You got a lot of work to do. Don't worry, we're almost
We might
done.
wear you down. But
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We'll try not to.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And then second question, not from cat fans, but just in general, you like Potato Shack in Huntsville?
Yeah, we called it Pea Shack.
What do you call it?
Pea Shack?
Pea Shack?
Yeah, we call it
Okay,
Pea
so we're
Shack.
gonna call
So
it
where
Pea
we
Shack.
go every time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was the first time I
Very
tried it was interesting because I did the barbecue one. And it
Yeah.
was like, I didn't realize you could put all this on a baked potato,
I
but
didn't
it
put
was,
anything on a baked potato.
it was good. There was a couple I tried that I was not a fan of, but the
That's
barbecue was really good.
I usually get the buffalo chicken one. Oh,
Yeah.
crush it every time.
Didn't
But it's good.
didn't
solid.
I get poutine there once?
You got a poutine?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the poutine.
Big fan of poutine. Love it. It's so good. Okay, so to kind of finish things up and wrap things up for now. So I guess talk about a couple of the recruits, maybe some of the guys that, I mean, everybody's here, yeah? Or is there a few that aren't?
We have one came in today, and we've got two more that are coming in July.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay, wow.
Okay, cool. So out of the guys that are here so far, maybe what are some things that are sticking out at you, some, characteristics of them, of their playing style, just as individuals, and how that will hopefully, again, equate to the team.
Yeah, I think everybody's a little different.
Of course, yeah.
We tried not to stack too many of the same players on top of each other in terms of just their skill sets.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
tried to kind of, if there was one guy that was more of an athlete at the center position, then we tried to maybe go get somebody that was maybe a little more skilled to try to kind of, mix and match a little bit different rather than having the exact same players at the same spot.
A little variation.
So we tried to do that. Now we'll have to play a little different in certain lineups that we're going to play. But ultimately, like, those new guys are just super competitive.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really what's been standing out the first 2 weeks, because we have done quite a bit of 4-on-4, 2-on-2 in the half court. We haven't done anything full court yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to wait till
Everybody.
Latif actually gets here today.
Oh, okay.
So he's, after him, we have two more guys. Gediminas and Taishik will be here in July.
Okay.
And those are our last two that'll be here. So just, again, like individually, I do think we have a team that can shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd say that they've shown it so far in practices, but they've also been defensive-minded practices, getting their feet underneath them, conditioning-wise and in the weight room. So the shooting part can be a little bit slow to start. That's no different than anywhere I've ever been.
Right.
But I think they picked everything that we were trying to do up very quickly. They want to do right.
Mm-hmm.
When they do it wrong, they want to know why they did it wrong and how they can do it better. So I think that's always important, because they want to be great and they want to be coached.
That's a big key to it.
Yeah. So I think, I know everybody wants to know about each player and all that, but like I said, we're going to do a comprehensive deal on our website where they can kind of get to know each person, have a picture with their name, so they can kind of associate everybody name and face wise, and maybe do a little Q&A with each guy so they can have some basic broad questions to know about them. So
and if we didn't scare you off too much, then when the schedule comes out in closer time, we could do a little
Yeah.
Yeah.
season preview episode and kind of chat about some of the games and the guys and how you're feeling.
Sounds good to me.
No,
Maybe
yeah,
have
yeah.
one of them come on if they want.
So we have one last question, and it comes from one of our good friends, Matt. Yeah,
Which I chuckled because this
Yeah.
is something I harped on during the season as well. So.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I have
So-
confidence you'll answer correctly.
don't freak
I
out.
feel like a lot of pressure.
No.
It's a very,
It
it's a very soft.
actually has to do with pressure. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, what is your go-to break man-to-man pressure on an inbounds pass in the full court?
Well, there's a lot of
Just think
there's a
simple.
lot of variables.
Of course.
Because it could be a zone press, it could be a man press.
Okay.
But I'm going to have 3 guards in the front court, or I guess in the back court with us, and then we'll have our 2 forwards more, up the floor. So we'll have one guy throw it in, one guy get open. As soon as we throw it into him, the opposite guy will get middle. The guy who threw it in will get behind him, and if they trap, we can either advance it up the floor or we can throw it back to a guard who can then break the press.
But very simply, how would you get the first guy open?
Well, again, it depends on if it's a zone or man. If it's man, then I'm probably going to either have a screen.
Yes,
and
there you go.
That was the answer.
That was the answer.
That was the answer.
I can't tell you how many times last season that did not happen, and it's like just what are
Set
we
a
doing?
damn screen.
How-
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
start higher up the floor. We'll have kind of an eye, 1-2 guy, and then we'll screen, or you can slip and then just try to. Because if they're going to be in a man press, they're probably going
Right.
to switch the screen. So if you can slip it, figure out a way to get them open.
But just some attempt at it would be.
And the one thing I will say about our guards is we have very physically developed guards. Keon is extremely
Yeah,
physical
Keon's great.
and
Oh,
strong.
for sure.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, just say that they're built.
Ahmed Muhammad is
Yeah.
built the exact same as Keon.
Oh, love. Yeah. Okay.
Narit, Cam, those guys are all like well built.
Yeah.
They're not. We do not have a thin guard on the roster. Everybody's very physical
Yeah.
and has some weight on them.
That's and
they're fast.
And that's the other thing
And they're
too.
fast.
And this is what also summer is for. I mean, is the conditioning and building muscle too. And so I mean, even if you did, they'd have it by the time the season starts. They'd be pretty.
Yeah,
good, you know what
but
I
just
mean? Yeah.
naturally they come
Naturally,
in.
they already have it, yeah.
I've been at other places, even at Texas Tech, where our guards they were really skilled,
Yeah.
really good players, but they were a little thin or
we're
didn't
wired
weigh a
different.
lot. And we do not have anybody at the guard spot that's like that. Not
Yeah,
one
I don't
person.
want I don't want to be pushed around.
We will not be pushed around.
That's because I feel
I
like
hear that.
especially because some of the teams in the Southland have obviously they've been recruiting. They've been getting some really bigger, stocky guys in, and I don't want to be pushed around under the basket.
Yeah.
I just want to be pushed around in general.
Yeah, no, I
And
mean
we're kind of the target of the Southland.
we've always
you know?
been.
Everybody wants
Yeah.
to take down
It's a
as
good
the
thing.
base. So
It is a good
good,
problem to
but,
have. Yeah.
it's one of those things we've talked about for years now. But
Yeah.
every season there will be a few schools that we could play them once and beat them by 25, and then they're going to come out of nowhere and beat us because they just all have that like chip on their shoulder to beat us. That you never know when they're going to, come up and play dirty and just they really want it.
yeah, that's why you
So yeah.
respect everyone, you fear no one.
I love it. It's a great way to
What
end
a
it
great
right
ending
there.
note. Yeah.
That is a great ending note. Okay, just making sure we didn't have. Okay. Every dollar counts and goes directly to the student. Yes, Matt, we've already discussed this.
I gave it
You
a
came
shout out,
in late,
Don't
Matt.
worry.
You came in late. But yeah, we gave the shout out already for NIL, but we'll bring it up real quickly one more time. Again, if you're just logging in, you can see it scrolling at the bottom. The Sawmill 6-man, the NIL Collective, is really important for our team. Obviously, this is a great way to help support the athletes, not only for basketball, but all over campus. But obviously, we're talking about basketball right now, men's. So if you have not gone on there and joined the NIL Collective, highly recommend that you do it. You can do it for as little as $10 a month. It
You can
is.
set it up auto draft. You don't even have to think about it.
You don't have
Just
to think
comes
about
right
it.
out of your
It's,
account.
that's one cup of coffee. You
Yep.
can let that go.
One double espresso.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
you can let that go once a month. I think you can handle that. And if you're really nice, you can let it go multiple times and do more than $10. So we want to thank you so much,
Of course.
Matt, for meeting with us. And there are so many Matts on.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
a lot of Matts.
there's a lot of Matts.
But now that I know how to say your last name correctly, Braeuer.
Braeuer, yep.
There you go, Braeuer. Exactly.
Coach Matt Braeuer.
Yes, we are so thankful for you meeting with us, and yeah, we would love to meet with you again right before the season starts. Obviously, it's a hard time to meet, but I mean, we could even do it virtually if need be, and then just kind of like chit chat about the schedule and the players and the lineups and things like that we have going on. Since obviously things will be a little bit more set by then.
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. You'll get to know us real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
You'll wish you knew us less.
surprise, we sit right behind the coach.
Just don't yell at me.
No problem. sis. I'm just kidding.
We've never yelled at the coach.
We've never yelled at the coach. It's always just the other team or the refs. So
Yeah, we're good. That's good.
exactly.
We
Yeah.
can take
No.
that.
And I try to rein the yelling at the refs in because my dad.
Yeah. But don't worry.
A little side out.
We've calmed down a lot. Maybe 10 years ago we were worse. we're pretty chill now. We're usually just there cheering on the team and not really saying much at all, just under our breath. That's what the podcast is for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
we'll take notes and then bitch about it on the podcast. All right, so thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have any further questions or have anything, I don't know what Matt keeps saying. Awesome job. Thank you, Matt. We appreciate it.
Send them in. Anything we can
Yeah.
cover later when we do the preseason.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Of course, appreciate Coach for his time. We look forward to getting to know you more, your staff more, because we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, getting to know the guys.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
can't wait. Thanks, everyone. Again, we appreciate you. Happy Friday. Hey, and happy Blueberry Fest weekend. Super excited. It's your first Blueberry
It
Fest.
is.
Oh.
Taking my family, so it'll be awesome.
So
Yeah,
ready to sweat your asses off.
Get there early is all I have to say.
We are planning on it.
Okay, good. All right. Have a great day, everyone. And as always, act some jacks.
Without some jacks.
All right. Oh, there goes my computer. End stream. Cool.